Hello and welcome back to Nikki V's Let Him Find You. And this week, this is for you. Of course, all my Let Him Find You videos are for single women, whether you're a single mom or coming out of a divorce or you're a widow or you are just been in and out of a lot of relationships that haven't worked. These videos are for you. But specifically, this is for you this week. And it's about clutter. Now, last week, and if you didn't see it last week, you could go back and look at that one. It was called Letting Go. And we talked about the emotional clutter, you know, like the baggage that we carry from one relationship to the next, or that we've had all of our lives and we take into a relationship. And that's obviously not a good thing. So you could always watch that from last week. But this week, it's actually about clutter, actual physical clutter, because there's a kind of great saying which says, you know, our outer environment is a reflection of our inner environment. And so often when I'm coaching single women who want to be in a great relationship like you do, I know, I notice that internally they're they're scattered, they worry about a lot of things, they kind of stack a lot of problems. You know, often if they're emailing me or something, they'll go, this is a problem and that's a problem and I don't know what to do about that. And they kind of stack. And that's what's going on inside of them. And if it's true that what's going on outside is reflected inside and vice versa, then what's your external environment like? So it takes me back to when I was single, and you probably have heard me say before that I kind of set myself a year to get myself into that great place where I just knew I was completely ready, not just for any old relationship, but for the relationship and for the perfect man for me to come along and find me. No searching, remember. And I was on that year, and I was actually on a seminar, and I was working as a coach, and I met another coach, and she comes from America. Her name's Sean, and I remember having a conversation with her and said to her, "Oh, Sean," I said, "you look amazing. You're absolutely glowing. You look fantastic." And she went, "Yes," she said. "Oh," she said, "a fantastic man found me. I am like in bliss." And I went, "Oh God, so love that. So love to hear it. I'm on my journey, you know, he hasn't quite found me yet, but I'm on my journey." And she went, "Well," she said, "I did something which you're probably going to think is a bit out there." She said, "But I really believe that it brought him closer. Because what I did," she said, "was I had a massive clear out." She said, "I did a number of things." So what I did, guess what? I went home and did these same things straight away. So you might want to think about that. What she said is, first of all, she said, I got rid of all my old clothes and shoes and handbags, and coats and all those things that she said I hadn't worn for ages and ages and ages, or that didn't quite fit me. I kept saying, you know the thing, I kept saying I'm going to slim into it or whatever. And she said I literally got rid of it so that my wardrobe was only half full. Now, she said, this is like a kind of energetic thing. She said, not a literal thing. You're not saying, like, my wardrobe's half full so that he can put his clothes in the other half, because Tony and I would not be suggesting to you that it's a good idea that he moves in with you, because men like to have their own castle. Well, healthy men do anyway. But she said, it's like an energetic thing. She said, what I learned was that if you just have that space in your life, in your wardrobe, that he has that space to come into. And I thought, oh my God, I absolutely love that. So that was the first thing. And I went home and I actually had a client, a coaching client at the time, who did that for a living. She kind of helped people, you know, clear their wardrobe and everything. She came round and I actually removed 75% of all my clothes that I'd hoarded for years and years and years, and actually in shoes and handbags too. And the feeling was just absolutely amazing. It was, I don't know, cathartic, whatever you like to call it, freeing. I felt lighter. But I also decided to believe that that was going to have a great effect. And of course it did. The other thing she said to me was that somebody had told her to sleep, to be in a double bed and to sleep in one half so that you leave space next to you. And again, not suggesting that you want him to move into your bed, but you know, you'd be wanting to move into his bed. But like, I had a double bed at the time and it worked. And I remember saying, again, having a friend at the time who was looking, she's going, well, yeah, but I've got single beds. You know, I've only got a single bed. And she said, but I know what I'm going to do. She said, I'm going to actually like make a kind of floor bed on the side. She said, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever it takes to actually have him find me. So that was, you know, the first two things. The other thing that I did was I had a massive clear out of books, of, you know, letters, of old things that I, you know, needed to let go of. And of course, it's well known that we should always look for, you know, photographs and things that have been from old relationships and get rid of them. But the ultimate thing that I did, and I just remembering this story, the ultimate thing that I did is I had a watch which I had for my birthday from my previous relationship that had broken down. And I'd got rid of all the other photographs, all the other things that were connected with this old relationship, and I still held on to this watch. Now, I have a fantastic best friend called Ali, and she lives in Australia, and at the time she lived in Shanghai, and I was visiting her, and we're having a glass of wine at, you know, like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were out, just the two of us, and she said to me, how are you doing getting over Ian? And I went, oh, I'm doing great. I don't even think about him. I'm not like, you know, doing the old stuff that I used to do, like, oh, miss him and all that kind of stuff. And she went, as best friends do, of course, you're still wearing the watch. Now, Ali had always loved this watch. She'd always loved it. And she actually said, you know, we had a joke, because I'm quite a lot older than her, we had a joke that I'll leave it you in my will, you know, because it was quite an expensive gold kind of, you know, thousands of pounds worth of watch. And so we're sitting there and she's going, what about the watch that he bought you for your birthday? And I went, I know. I said, look, and I took it off and I gave it to her. So as you can imagine, like girls do, oh, she said, no, I couldn't, it's so valuable and it's all like that. I said, no, okay, I've been doing this thing called letting go, clearing out, getting rid of my clutter, and even though this doesn't seem like a load of clutter, I'm going to let go of it right now. Now, the curious thing that happened was that this is 1 o'clock in the morning. We went home, we packed my bag, she took me to the airport because I had a 5 o'clock in the morning flight from Shanghai, and I arrived in Kuala Lumpur at about 12 noon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and Tony was at the airport to meet me. We weren't together, we just knew each other vaguely and, you know, a little bit, and he kind of met me, and I said to him, how did you know I was flying in? And he said, well, I knew you were coming in from China, but I didn't know what time. I've been here for 4.5 hours waiting for you. And I kind of went, whoa. Well, 4 days later, we were getting together, we were getting married. So I have a massive, massive belief that by letting go of things, clearing out your clutter, and then Tony was reminding me, you know, it's even like our computers, because nowadays, you know, our mobile phones, we've got contacts coming out of our ears, we've got documents on our computers, we've got loads of people on Facebook, whatever that needs to happen to clear up our external environment. I believe at 100%, and I believe it for you too, that can have not just a great impact on your own life, your own feeling of being lighter, freer, you know, clearer, whatever that feeling is. And here's the big thing, energetically, you're making space in your life for him to come along and find you and whisk you off your feet if that's what you want. So that, oh God, I just so love telling you that story, because it just reminds me of that moment when I kind of knew right deep down, right here, just knew that feeling of being free, of being clear, I just knew he was on his way. And of course, it happened for me very, very quickly once I'd got really, really clear. So that's it for this week. Really looking forward to speaking to you again next week. I love having all your emails and your instant messages, and underneath this video, there's a place where you can say, I want more details on Let Him Find You. And what will happen if you put your tick that box and put your details in is my complimentary Let Him Find You course 1 will wing its way into your inbox. So until next week, sending you lots of love. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.